chosen one. A mighty voice from the depths of the infinite universe is warning you and calling you to a higher purpose. This call tells you that you are stepping towards one of the greatest turning points in history. Feel the divine fire within you, for you will be the last prophet. Your destiny awaits you, and your power is more mesmerizing and transformative than anyone can imagine. No matter what happens, no matter what difficulties you face, everything will reveal your truth, faith, and strength. Remember that the universe is watching you every step of the way, and your every word will shine like a star. Now is your time. Are you ready? If you are ready, write 77 in the comments now. The weight of their disbelief is almost visible. The stunned silence, the faltering expressions, the realization that their little scheme unraveled before their eyes. They poured energy into weaving half-truths and whispers, expecting them to entangle you, but instead, they became stepping stones on your ascent. While they gather in their echo chambers, recycling the same tired narratives, you're out in the open, thriving, drawing in people who recognize authenticity when they see it. Irony has a way of turning the tables, doesn't it? The very effort meant to diminish you became the fuel that elevated you beyond their reach. No matter how they tried to control the narrative, it found its own course, straight to you. Every murmured falsehood, every smirk exchanged in secrecy, only made you more visible. The more they fixated on pulling you down, the more others saw the truth standing tall. The contrast was undeniable. While they operated in shadows, you existed in clarity. Their attempts to dim your presence only intensified the glow of your undeniable essence. They wanted to dictate how you would be perceived, but perception belongs to those who see, and what they saw in you was strength beyond manipulation. Let them persist in their fruitless whispers. They are mere echoes of their own limitations. Gossip doesn't imprison you. It liberates you from spaces never meant for you. Their words don't shape your journey. They reveal the smallness of their own world. What they intended as a weapon became a showcase of your resilience. You were never dependent on their approval. And now, as they watch you thrive, it's clear they never had the power they thought they did. You know, life sometimes feels like a storm, doesn't it? The winds blow strong, the clouds roll in, and it seems like everything is against you. But let me tell you something, my friends. Just like the mighty oak tree that stands firm in the midst of the fiercest winds, you too are rooted deep. You may feel the pressure. You may hear the whispers of doubt, see the attempts to shake you, but if you stand firm in who you are, if you hold fast to that unshakable truth inside you, nothing can bring you down. Their orchestrated attempts at sabotage, they were like the winds trying to uproot that oak tree. But all they did was set you apart, didn't they? All they did was expose your strength, your unshakable nature. What was meant to unsettle you, what they thought would break you, only proved how deeply rooted you are in the truth of who you are. You see, their efforts to distort your image, to make you look like something you're not, only worked in the opposite way. They thought they could tear you down, but all they did was make your presence even more undeniable. It was like a diamond being polished. What they thought was a flaw only made you shine brighter. In their relentless pursuit to see you falter, they gave you something precious. They gave you a platform. You were never playing their game, were you? They wanted to knock you off your path, but the more they tried, the more they exposed their own weakness. They couldn't break you because you weren't meant to be broken. And by trying to tear you apart, they showed the world exactly who they were. And in doing so, They made your position stronger. They revealed their fragility, their insecurity, while all you had to do was stand in your truth. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the Super Thank You button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom, for you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. It's like the story of a potter working with clay. The potter's wheel turns, and the clay is shaped and molded. The potter presses, squeezes, and works the clay, sometimes stretching it to its limits. But what happens? The clay doesn't break. No, my friends, it becomes something beautiful, something strong. And that's what you are. They can press, they can squeeze, but they cannot break you. You are being shaped into something greater than they could ever imagine. And here's the thing. When they tried to tear you down, they only helped you rise. You see, their fixation on your downfall was the very thing that anchored you. They thought they were pulling you down, but in reality, they were lifting you up. It's like a butterfly in a cocoon. The struggle to break free, the pressure of pushing against the walls, isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength, a sign of transformation. And once that butterfly breaks free, it takes flight, soaring higher than it ever could have imagined. You ever watch a tree grow? There it is, standing tall, no matter what happens around it. Storms come, the wind howls, the rain falls, but the tree stands firm. Its roots go deep, and no matter how much the winds blow, no matter how much the storm rages, that tree keeps growing. Why? Because it doesn't bend to the storm, it grows through it. And you, my friends, are just like that tree. You've got roots that go deep, and no storm, no obstacle, no person can shake you from your foundation. You didn't need to play their game. You didn't need to stoop to their level. You know, so many times in life, we feel the pressure to compete, to get down in the dirt with those who try to pull us down. But you didn't do that. No, you stayed true to who you are. You stayed rooted in that divine truth, and that's what makes you unstoppable. You didn't let their games distract you from the purpose God has placed in your life. You didn't let their schemes get in the way of what's ahead for you. You stayed focused on the path God has set before you, and that's what makes you unshakable. They thought they were manipulating the game. They thought they were playing their cards, pulling the strings, trying to make things go their way. But what they didn't know was that all they were doing was playing right into your hands. Just like a master chess player who knows the moves before the opponent makes them, you were steps ahead. You were working on a level they didn't even understand. Every move they made, every attempt to take you down, only brought you closer to your victory. And here's the beautiful part. The more they tried to tear you down, the more they elevated you. Think about that for a moment. The very thing they thought would destroy you is the thing that's been raising you up. It's like a furnace that melts down the metal. The heat doesn't destroy it. It purifies it. It strengthens it. And every time they tried to dim your light, all they did was make it shine brighter. They didn't realize that your light wasn't coming from them. It wasn't coming from their approval or their tactics. Your light comes from a much higher place. It comes from the Creator. It's the light of truth, the light of purpose, the light of your destiny, and no darkness can ever extinguish it. Have you ever seen a pearl being formed inside an oyster? It starts as something small, a grain of sand, maybe even something irritating. The oyster doesn't resist the grain of sand. It wraps it up, it surrounds it, it covers it over time, and before long, something beautiful is created. That little piece of sand, something that could have caused discomfort, becomes a pearl, a treasure. And that's exactly what God is doing in your life. The pressures, the challenges, the things that seem like they're meant to break you, they're the things that are shaping you. They're the things that are preparing you for something bigger, something more beautiful, something that can't be ignored. You see, when they try to break you, when they try to bring you down, all they're doing is showing the world how strong you really are. It's like a diamond being shaped under pressure. The pressure doesn't destroy the diamond. No, it refines it. It brings out its brilliance. And that's what's happening in your life right now. The struggles, the hardships, the moments when you feel like you can't go on, they're not meant to tear you down. They're meant to make you stronger. They're meant to refine you, to bring out the best in you. Just like that diamond that starts out as a rough stone, you too are being shaped into something that can't be ignored. God is working on you, refining you with each challenge, with each trial. He's preparing you for the greatness that's ahead. And let me tell you something. What He's doing in you, no one can take away. No matter how hard they try, no matter how much they plot, they can't stop what God has in store for you. They can scheme, they can plan, but all it's going to do is make you shine brighter. It's going to make you stand taller. It's going to make you rise higher. You know, there's a saying that goes, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." And that's exactly the truth. Every challenge, every hardship, every time they tried to bring you down, you've only become stronger. You've only become more resilient. And that strength, it's not just for you. It's for everyone who's watching you. It's for everyone who sees the way you stand, unshaken in the face of adversity. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're not just going through the motions, you're growing. You're being molded into the person God has called you to be. And let me remind you, when you are walking in your purpose, when you are doing what God has placed you here to do, there is no force in this world that can stop you. People may try to tear you down, they may try to discourage you, but all they're doing is setting the stage for your success. They don't realize it, but they're pushing you higher, they're elevating you, because every time they try to hold you back, you keep moving forward. So when the storms come, when the winds howl, when the rain falls, don't shrink back. Stand tall, stand firm, because God is using every bit of that pressure to make you into something beautiful. He's shaping you into something that can't be ignored, something that will shine for all the world to see. And the more they try to tear you down, the more they will see the strength and the beauty that God has placed inside you. You are being refined, you are being molded, and you, my friend, are destined to shine. Now, it's easy to get caught up in what others are doing, right? When people throw stones, when they gossip, when they try to tear you down, it's easy to get distracted, to let those things get to you. But I want you to hear me on this. Don't take your eyes off the prize. Don't let their games pull you away from your purpose. They may try to knock you off track, but you're not just playing the same game they are. You're on a different level. You're in a different arena. And the rules are not the same. God has called you to a higher place, and when you stay true to who you are, when you hold fast to your purpose, nothing can stop you. They can't manipulate you, they can't control you, and they certainly can't stop what's coming your way. Because when you're chosen, when you're walking in your purpose, the world will notice, and all the attempts to tear you down will only lift you higher. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. So, I want you to do something today. I want you to stop worrying about the people who are trying to tear you down. I want you to stop focusing on their plans, their schemes, their games. Look at yourself in the mirror and see the power that lies within you. See the truth of who you are. See the light that shines in you, and know that nothing can put that light out. It's your time to shine. It's your time to rise above the noise, to rise above the distractions, and to step into the greatness God has for you. Because when you walk in your truth, when you stand firm in who you are, you become unstoppable. And when they try to tear you down, they only end up helping you rise. God is using every challenge, every attempt to bring you down, to bring you higher. So hold your head high, keep moving forward, and know that you are destined for greatness. The best is yet to come. You don't need to play their game, because when you're walking in your divine purpose, you've already won. And here's the beautiful truth. What they tried to destroy, God is using for good. What they thought would be your downfall is the very thing that will propel you to the next level. You were never meant to be like them. You were never meant to follow the path they wanted you to follow. You were chosen for a higher purpose, a divine purpose. And while they were busy trying to tear you down, God was busy raising you up. He was using every challenge, every attack to strengthen you, to prepare you for the greatness He has in store. So don't look at what they're doing as a setback. Don't look at their attempts to sabotage you as a defeat. See it for what it truly is, a blessing in disguise. It's the fire refining you, the pressure turning you into something unbreakable. You are being shaped, molded, and prepared for a future that is beyond anything you could ever imagine. And when that moment comes, when you step into your destiny, you'll look back and see that everything they tried to do to you only served to lift you higher. They didn't break you. They couldn't break you, because you are chosen. You are called, and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. This is your time. This is your season. And when all is said and done, it won't be their victory you'll remember. It will be yours, because you stood firm. You stayed true. And you, my friend, won. Rising above doesn't require a battle. It requires clarity. By refusing to be dragged into their theater of chaos, you demonstrated something more powerful than retaliation: grace. While they exhausted themselves trying to provoke a reaction, you stood composed, untouched by their noise. The more they flailed, the clearer it became. Their struggle was never about you. Their frenzy only revealed their own instability, while you remained unmoved, untouched, undeniably radiant. What was intended to unsettle you became a stage where your presence could no longer be ignored. They sought to scatter you, but instead, they centered you. Their noise became an amplifier, their schemes a lesson, their doubt a contrast against your undeniable certainty. They tried to control the outcome, but the truth has a way of surfacing. And now, all eyes are where they were never meant to be: on you. Their envy didn't just put you in view, it made you unforgettable. Every attempt to sideline you only sharpened your presence, turning dismissive glances into unintentional spotlights. The weight of their resentment became the force that propelled you forward. They were so consumed with trying to block your path that they failed to notice. They were laying it brick by brick, and as the world took notice, one truth became impossible to deny. This was never a coincidence. Some are meant to be seen, no matter how hard others try to erase them. The shift didn't happen in an instant, but when it did, there was no going back. Between the noise and the distractions, something inside awakened, a force both ancient and new. A knowing beyond logic, visions that felt less like imagination and more like revelation. The veil between what is and what has always been began to thin. Every obstacle placed in front of you became another test, one you were born to surpass. The resistance you faced wasn't a punishment, it was a refinement, shaping you into the force you were always meant to be. What surged within you couldn't be hidden. It rippled outward, reshaping the space around you, making people pause before they even understood why. Your presence spoke before you did, shifting the energy in the room. It was undeniable. While they grasped at shallow tactics, you tapped into something unshakable. The difference was clear. They were caught in fleeting games, and you were standing in the current of something timeless. While they remained tangled in their own conflicts, you were evolving beyond reach. True transformation doesn't just change the individual, it alters everything in proximity. Your clarity became a mirror, reflecting back what others tried to hide. Your wisdom sliced through illusions, leaving deception powerless. And as your essence grew stronger, it magnetized those meant to walk beside you, while repelling those who had no place in your journey. What they thought was a contest was never even a competition. It was a revelation. And in that revelation, everything shifted. The moment they thought they had the upper hand was the moment everything changed. Like a seed in the soil that has been waiting for the right moment to sprout, their sense of control began to wither as the light of truth began to shine. People who had once been silent, maybe even complacent, started to lean in. Not because of pressure or force, but because they were drawn to something deeper, something undeniable. It was as if a veil had been lifted and they could see the world in its true colors. They began to see the difference, the clear contrast between manipulation and authenticity. It wasn't just an intellectual difference, it was a heart difference. One way sought to control, to twist and bend reality to fit its needs. But the other, it stood firm, unwavering, like a mountain against the storm. They saw insecurity, that shaky foundation built on fear and doubt, crumbling before the confidence that comes from knowing your true worth. It was as if they could feel the presence of something greater than themselves, something that couldn't be faked, something that anchored them in a truth too powerful to ignore. And just as the sun rises each day, its light breaking through the darkness, no matter how thick the clouds may seem, your radiance spread. The more your light grew, the more the shadows of their tactics melted away. Because let me tell you, friends, those who are meant to lead don't just attract followers, they awaken movements. You become the spark, the very energy that ignites a fire in the hearts of those around you. It's like a tree in full bloom. The branches stretch high and wide, offering shelter to those who are lost, guidance to those who are confused. And as those branches grow, they don't just give shade, they give life. They provide fruit, they nourish, and they become a symbol to others of what's possible. When the truth takes root in you, when you stand in the fullness of who you are, it's not just your life that changes, it's the world around you. People see that difference, and they can't help but be drawn to it. They start to believe, start to see that the life they've been waiting for isn't just a dream. It's real, it's possible, and it's here. You are the living proof. Just as a river flows, carving its way through the land, unstoppable, unyielding, so too does the movement you are a part of. No matter how much they try to block you, no matter how many walls they put up, your truth cannot be contained. It's like a mighty force of nature. When you speak, it's not just words, it's the living, breathing truth that resonates with everyone who hears it, deep in their bones. And here's the beauty of it. No one can fake that. You can put on a show, you can speak all the right words, you can build the tallest towers of manipulation. But when truth comes, when that light breaks through, all of it crumbles. Because truth is not something you can hide behind. It's something you have to stand in. You can't pretend to be real. You can't fake authenticity. And that's why, when the light of your truth shines, it's like a lighthouse in the dark, guiding everyone who is ready to see the way. So don't be afraid to stand in your power. Don't shrink back. This isn't just about you. This is about the countless lives you are called to touch. You are here for a reason. You are here to awaken others to the truth that has always been inside them. And when you walk in that truth, the world will follow. Not because they're being forced, but because they are being called. Called to something greater, called to something more. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed and let the light of the Lord guide your path. Just like the sun rising over the horizon, your light will never be dimmed. It will shine, unwavering, and it will continue to spread, growing, expanding, touching hearts everywhere it goes. This is your time. You were born for this, so let that truth live in you and watch as it transforms everything around you. Because when you lead with authenticity, when you lead with love, you don't just lead, you change the world. And that, my friends, is something no one can ever take away from you. What started as their struggle against you became a defining moment for those watching. This wasn't about retaliation. It was about something far greater. The truth shone so brightly that it left no room for shadows. And one by one, the ones who once indulged in the spectacle turned away from it, not because they were told to, but because they recognized something undeniable. Alignment with you wasn't just about support. It was a declaration of what they refused to tolerate any longer. The tide had turned, and with it, a wave of transformation began. Those drawn to your path didn't just follow, they stepped into their own power. Your resilience became a signal, reminding others of their own strength. This wasn't about gaining supporters. It was about awakening leaders. The foundation they tried to shake beneath you only widened into something greater than they could ever control. This was never about winning or losing. It was about rewriting the narrative entirely. Their schemes didn't just collapse. They became relics of a past that no longer held weight. You stood unwavering, untouched by their illusions. And as the dust settled, only one truth remained. They had never been the ones holding power. They had only been spectators of your rise, watching helplessly as their own efforts unraveled. But this is merely the prelude. The curtain has only just lifted, the stage is set, and the world is waiting. Every step ahead is yours to command. The next chapter isn't just yours to claim, it's yours to create.